Hello everyone! So today I want to talk about Sndl, Sundial growers, and not to waste your time, so I get right to the point. I personally think this stock is currently overvalued. I said that in yesterday's video. I sold my position in it, sold it for 159, and all that being said, if you're new to the channel, I am not a professional investor, I'm not a financial advisor, nothing like that. I am a CEO of a gaming company, and I started investing pretty seriously a few months ago and opened this channel both to make this journey more fun and share my thoughts and to give more of a company CEO type of perspective on investing, and also because I have a bet with my co-founder Ben, who can make more money while investing over a year. So we're gonna follow that journey. If you want to join for the ride, like, subscribe, bell, basically everything YouTube lets you do. I always try to get to the point as fast as I can, like I did in this video. And if you want to go into the specifics, you are welcome to watch. I am always happy to hear your thoughts. Why am I an idiot and wrong? I think that's the best way to learn. So all that being said, yesterday in the video, I'm pretty proud of myself, potentially, because yesterday in the video, for maybe the first time, I gave a prediction about how the market is going to behave. So I said that we will probably see some panic and sell-offs on the red day until the Fed speaks, and then we're going to see a pretty fast recovery today and tomorrow. So far, I was kind of right. People panicking until the Fed. This is when the Fed spoke. We heard some pretty reassuring news that, they don't expect inflation to be a big deal, that they're not going to touch interest rates anytime soon. So everything looked good and the market jumped back. This is the S&P. Nasdaq, kind of the same thing, cooled off a bit after. But all in all, everything is looking good. I hear a lot of people talking about a market crash soon. I don't see it, but I'll make a different video about that. I'm hoping for a green, nice day today and tomorrow, and the day after we'll be able to tell if I'm right or if I was wrong. So jumping into Sndl. Sundial growers, they are a flower company, and they have a pretty interesting story. Released their earnings yesterday. Earnings were pretty good. I'll get to that in a minute. That being said, there is something very important about this company. While there are a lot of good news coming about it, like the earnings report yesterday, they had the story where they needed to keep the stock over $1 for 10 days to not get delisted, and that seems to be good news. This number makes me scared to death. And looking at a company 6 months back and seeing 527%, 530% up, it is not a problem, because this can happen, but I will be cautious. For us newer investors, me included, we got into the stock market lately, and we're kind of getting used to seeing those like GMEs, AMCs jumping, insane things happening in the stock market. This is not the norm. Companies in general don't grow 520% in 6 months. This is insane, and not saying that this can't happen, but this needs to have a very good explanation why. So if you're investing into Sndl now, you probably need a very, very, very good reasoning as to why you think that. And this reasoning can be, this is an amazing company doing an amazing job, it's taking over the world. Cool, good enough explanation. It can be something related to the industry. The industry is gonna jump insanely. It's very speculative and stuff like that. Also a good explanation, but you need to have one. If you don't have one and you're just investing because Reddit told you so, I would be very, very careful, like I am in this case. So yesterday they released their report, and that was a pretty good moment to see if something justifies that. And Sundial Growth misses on revenue, missed by 0.3 million. Something else says that beats estimates. Increase of 4% year to year. And gross revenue increased by 10%. They eliminated debt, which is great. And as I said before, this like 10 days over $1 thing seems to be solved. So all in all, there are a lot of good news about this company. I'm not saying there aren't. There are a lot of good news about this. That being said, I don't see anything here, and tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but anything here coming even close to 500%. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm worried about. This can be a great company, but it's also a meme stock. And I'm not saying this as a very bad thing, you know, like oh no, don't invest into meme stocks. I'm saying like I'm completely on this side. The suits probably don't know how to think about the flower industry correctly and all that. Wall Street is probably being more careful with its estimates than it should about this industry. And yet the difference between growing 10% in gross revenue to 500% on the stock is crazy. And I think that it's not about the company, it's mostly people who saw this on Reddit and, you know, oh, we're like the new generation, we know that it's gonna be legalized, cool. Which I agree with. That being said, and if you think that tomorrow we're gonna wake up to a world where all over the US and the world it's now legalized, you're probably mistaken in my opinion. Israel has been talking about legalization for I think 15, 20 years. This year we finally have some form of it coming, and even with the Biden administration, it's stuff that take years and decades, and there are a lot of things in the middle, like for example what Israel did. It's not that we legalized it, is that we said, well, it's not a criminal charge anymore, so basically now you can't, like, it's illegal, but if you get caught, you're gonna get a fine. So there is a lot of middle ground scenarios here, and this industry, while I also think is about to, you know, grow a lot, it can take a very long time, and you should be in it for the long run. And I don't see anything here justifying a 500% up on the stock. And as I said, I sold it at 159, and I might be back if the stock drops. Then I might buy it again. It is a good company. As I said, there are a lot of very, very good news about it. It looks solid. The company is, you know, growing. It's growing. That's funny. It just hit me. But overall, it looks like a very good company. If I'm honest, it's just that what scares me is this insane growth of the stock, which I think is just overvalued and is a complete hype because of Reddit and YouTube, which helps the company and it's good. But and I was holding it, by the way, until 159, but I think that's my limit, and I took my profits, which were pretty great, by the way. I made around 20% very fast on this, so I'm very happy. Also, if you believe in the, you know, in this whole industry, betting on one company is a bit weird in my mind. So I would say, you think that, you know, the flower industry is, I think I'm not allowed to say like the other stuff. I don't know why. I saw some people being careful with it. So let's call it the flower industry. So if you think the flower industry will take off, you know, in the following years, which I completely think that, betting on a super risky company that went 500% up is I think not the best way. I would invest in an ETF probably, and there are a bunch of those. I actually am invested in an ETF, which I'll talk about in some video. It's called YOLO, which is funny, and actually the reason I invested in it, but it's not as stupid as it sounds. If you think that's stupid, go back and watch my video about the Buzz ETF, which will explain my logic there. And also, the last thing I want to bring up about this specific stock is people are excited and they see the stock like, jumping fast, and they're getting on the train, which is great. But bear in mind that there is like this calculation of the higher the stock goes, the more your risk becomes, right? Like if you would buy Tesla at 500, your risk of losing 50% of your money is fairly is fairly low, because you need the stock to go to 250 to do that. And it's like the chances of this happening are very different than if you buy Tesla for 1,000. What are the chances of it going to 500? So the higher the stock gets, generally speaking, the more risky it is. The lower it is, the less risky it is. And obviously that's where all the buy the dip logic comes from, which is definitely correct, or in my mind, not financial advice, yada yada. So some sources are actually talking about it. I opened one, and I'm not saying that they're correct, but but if the Wall Street, like the Wall Street analysts and other analysts, put it at around 0.4, 0.6. So like the potential fall on this thing, the higher it gets, becomes more and more crazy. And at the moment, from everything I'm seeing, we're around, like potentially losing 60 to 75% of your money, which is, I don't want to lose 75% of my money, you know what I mean? And when I can't see, and in some cases like HCMC, which I talked about, I see the logic. I'm like, okay, there is a lawsuit, I might lose all my money, but also there is like this risk management of like, what are the chances of this actually exploding? So I am invested in HCMC. But in this case, I just don't see the justification of why this thing jumped 500%. And you know what? Even if I'm blind and I just don't see why this happened, it's very hard for me to see how it can jump another 100% from here, given the fact, given like this earnings report. Do you expect the next earning report to be another, that they suddenly an increase of 100%? Probably not as good as it is that they are, eliminating debt. That's awesome for a company. And as I said, all the signs are good. But I think for me, it's too risky. I decided to sell it at 159, and I guess time will tell if I was right or wrong. I might be back if this drops, but for now, those are my thoughts about Sndl. I hope that helps you. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm an idiot? As I said, I honestly believe that people yelling at you that you're an idiot is the best way to learn, and I don't, know that much about stocks. As I said, I'm just giving an investor perspective from the CEO of a company perspective, and that's how I'm investing and trying to explain my logic. So if you like what I'm doing, again, I will greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. I post videos every day, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.